Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder. In today's video we're going to be talking about the great helmet debate, Arai versus HJC. So sit back, relax, grab yourselves a cup of tea and let us get into the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about what new lid I should potentially get. Now at the moment I'm currently wearing a HJC RPHA in a size medium in gloss black with a dark tinted visor, which I've been wearing for a good number of years. I've had this lid for somewhere in the region of about 4 knocking on 5 years, so it's almost come to the end of its usable life, to which case it's time to look at new ones. Do I up the level of my current lid and go for the HJC RPHA, or do I go for the big daddy of them all, the Arai RX7-V? Now if anyone knows anything about helmets or motorcycling in general, you would have heard of at least one of those brands. In the UK, Arai is a firm favourite with a lot of riders, both street and track. HJC not so much, but don't let that deter you from HJCs in general, because believe it or not, HJCs are some of the best, most comfortable helmets I've ever owned, i.e. the one I've got on my bonnet right now. And if I'm honest, if I had to get an HJC, well, if I had no choice but to get an HJC, I would quite happily get this one all over again. But with the way things are, and the fact my birthday is coming up, I'm toying with the idea of going a couple of grades better. So whether it be, like I say, the HJC RPHA, which is HJC's premium track lid, which doesn't have all the bells and whistles like say their RPHA does. So it doesn't have a drop down sun visor. It's a bit more race orientated in terms of the fit. It does come with pin lock in the box, which is always handy. So if you guys know what pin lock is, it's basically an anti-fog system to make sure that the visor stays nice and clear. I am now a very big fan of them, and I've been using a pin lock in my IS-17 for the last, well, since the day I bought it. And only now, believe it or not, after nearly 5 years worth of use, is it starting to fail on me. And even though it is, in inverted commas, starting to fail, it's not actually failing that badly. You know, I could potentially just get another pin lock for it, but at the same time, you know, the helmet's done nearly 5 years worth of riding in all sorts of shitty weather, day and night, week after week, month after month, and in all fairness, it's probably time to change it. But I'm still in two minds about which helmet to replace it with. Do I replace it with its newer, bigger brother, the RPHA, or do I replace it with a helmet which is the RX7-V? So with that, if you had a budget of say £600, what would you get? The RX7, which in a plain colour right now is £669.99. 69, my favourite number. Or would you go with a HJC RPHA, which I believe in plain colours is about £499.99. Now what I'm going to do, I'll throw up a picture of each one as I talk, so that you can see which ones I'm referring to. Now especially, you know, I do like the whole stealthy look, but some of the graphics I've seen for Arai especially look rather lovely. There's one HJC that I've seen in a graphic for the RPHA, which is a Cal Crotchlow replica, but it's not your normal Crotchlow replica. It's like a monotone silver and grey variant, and it looks fucking amazing in my opinion. And again, I'll throw a picture of that up in the video as we go. I'm just so torn about which one to go for. It's like there's so many pros and cons of each. For example, with Arai, the biggest disadvantage is the price. They are very expensive. The pros, however, is that they've got a good 75-80 years worth of experience behind them, so you know you're getting a good lid. There's no two ways about it. you buy an Arai, you're getting quality. Simple as that. And not only that, but if you look at World Superbikes and MotoGP and even BSB, you will see that a lot of riders are wearing one of a few brands, primarily Arai or Shoei, but there are a few now that are wearing HJCs and so on. Right, so the pros of the RX7-V: very, very aerodynamically sound, very, very comfortable to wear. It comes with a pinlock insert in the box. You can buy a myriad of different visors for it, either standard dark race tint or mellow smoke or iridiums of various colours, which personally I don't really like. I'm not really a fan of iridium visors because they look good and everything, but the minute they get scratched, that's it, they're fucked. And not only that as well, it's a pro and a con for Arai, and that's the fact that if you've got a standard dark tint visor, they're about 65-70 quid, and the iridiums, they're 114.99. Now obviously prices may have changed since making this video, but I'm just giving you a rough idea. You can change the thickness or the thinness of the head pad and the cheek pads. You can also change the tightness or the looseness of the crown. So if you've got one of them weird peanut shaped heads, you can actually have it tailored to fit your head a lot better. So you can have the crown part pulled in or loosened, and likewise with the cheek pads, you can get away with having a thicker cheek pad or a foam insert put into the cheeks to help give you a bit more security around the face. What else? Also the actual liners themselves are antimicrobial, so if you're one of these people that suffers with skin conditions like eczema or psoriasis or whatever, you won't have any issues from that point of view. Many years ago, I actually bought an Arai when I first started riding, and this is going back 15, well, nearly 18 years now. It was an Arai Quantum F, and this is just to give you an idea of how long ago this actually was. It was that long ago that when this helmet was available to buy, it was back when Troy Bayliss and Noriyuki Haga were racing each other in World Superbikes. That's how long ago it was. But yeah, that Quantum F was amazing. It was an absolute peach of a helmet to wear. It was comfortable, it wasn't too quiet, it wasn't too heavy, and with the materials that Arai use in their helmets, it hasn't changed in the last 70 odd years. They use things like aramid fibres, carbon fibre weave, polycarbonate, fiberglass, and all sorts to make their helmets, which is what makes them some of the best in the business. They also do their own in-house testing as well. So with regards to you know, wind tunnel testing and impact testing, they do all that in-house, which is something that not a lot of brands can attest to. I think the only other brand that does it, well, the only other two brands that do it, I think, are Shoei and Schuberth. But don't quote me on that, because I'm not 100% sure. But it's literally not many, like I say, not many brands that do their own in-house testing. And that just goes to show the quality and the confidence in the products that Arai make. And you can't argue with that, in my opinion. You can try and argue with it, but you won't get very far. So that's the pros and cons of the RX7. Now the pros and cons of the HJC RPHA. And one of the big positives with the RPHA is that it's a lot lighter than the Arai. I think roughly there's about 100 grams difference between the two. So it doesn't sound a lot, but it does add up to a lot if you think about it, if you're wearing it all day, if you're doing a track day and stuff like that. So that's one thing to consider. Also, just like the Arai, the RPHA does have hypoallergenic, antimicrobial cheek pads and headliner. So again, exactly the same as the Arai. If you suffer with any sort of skin conditions and such like, you won't end up knackering your skin or making yourself ill over it. They also have the same things in terms of visors as the Arais, in the fact that they both have, you can get dark visors, tinted visors, and mellow smoke visors. Oh, and also I think you can get iridiums. But again, I personally wouldn't subscribe to that because they're not cheap with HJC either. If I remember rightly, last time I checked, the HJC dark tinted visor was somewhere in the region of about 55 quid, 60 quid, which, okay, yeah, it's still expensive, but it's still a tenner cheaper than the Arais. And the Iridiums, I think they were roughly about 100 quid. So that's just by the price alone. Either brand, I would not get an Iridium visor for them. It's just like, no, there's no point. Primarily because it's just gonna, you're just gonna ruin it. Guarantee you, you'll have an Iridium visor on your helmet for about a month, and I guarantee you, the first stone chip that you get on that Iridium visor, you will not want to use it ever again. Because what happens is that the actual Iridium film that's on the visors peels off, so it will slowly get worse and worse and worse, and then it'll just make the helmet look cheap and nasty, which, as you can imagine, if you do that to an Arai, people are going to think it's fake. You do that to an HJC, they're just going to think you're trampy. But, you know, I digress. The price aside, I still would not get an Iridium visor. I don't care whether it was 50 quid, the same as the standard tinted visors, or whether it was, you know, instead of it being 100 quid, it was 80 quid. I still would not get one. I really wouldn't. Also, just like with the Arais, the headliner and the cheek pads are removable for washing. One thing I would say is that if you are going to wash the actual head pads and cheek pads on any of these helmets, you should definitely do it by hand. I wouldn't recommend trying to stick them in the washing machine. You don't want to tumble dry the cheek pads or the headliner, because what will happen is it will shrink, it will never fit in the shell properly, and what will happen, you'll end up having to buy more, and that in itself could set you back about 100 quid for HJC, probably about 110 for an Arai. So, you know, be warned of that. But other than that, from what I've just said, what do you guys think I should go with? I mean, I've got an idea in my head and what I would like. I mean, the only other thing that would possibly require consideration would be the graphics. Like I said, the two graphics that I've kind of got in mind, if I don't go for a plain gloss black, of the RX7, there's a new Haga replica that's just been released, or will be released fairly soon, which I love. I absolutely love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And then there's the, like I've already mentioned, the Cal Crutchlow R411 in sort of like a diamond, sort of like a frosted grey and silver. It is black, but it's like a matte black, so it's not a shiny finish. I mean, I've said this before, I'm not really a matte black sort of person, but if it looks right and it works, then yeah, okay, of course, I'll give it a go. But the thing I find with matte graphics or matte helmets compared to gloss ones, to clean them, the gloss ones are by far and away easier to clean, because they've got that the clear coat on the top. It does make life a hell of a lot easier to look after, and anyone who's owned a matte black helmet or a matte graphic helmet, you will know this to be true. But like I said, if the graphic's nice enough, then I will obviously entertain it. But I'm just so stuck. I mean, I love both the brands. I love HJC, I love Arai. The Arai that I got, the Quantum F, was the very, very first helmet I ever bought, and I had that for way longer than I should have done. If I could get both, trust me, I'm all over it. I'd get both. If I could afford it, that is. But anywho, like I always say, boys and girls, you know, thank you so much for the continued support. Thank you for all the likes, comments and subscribers. You know, it does mean a hell of a lot. It does help, you know, support the channel. It does help me as a person. It helps me as a content creator. You know, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. I can't really say much more than that, if I'm honest. But anyway, as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, you know what you gotta do. Make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, get your friends and family to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, all the support is greatly appreciated and greatly welcomed, and together there's going to be some big things coming. Like I said to you the other day, I'm hoping to get a few more test rides in. I'm hoping to do a giveaway if we hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you want to see what that giveaway is going to be, then make sure you get people to comment and subscribe and join the army of Thunderers, if that's what you want to call yourselves, of course. You can call yourselves whatever you like, but I'm just saying, if you want to be part of something big and something amazing, then smash the like button and make sure you comment and subscribe, because like I say, without you guys the channel wouldn't be worth doing, and it is so worth doing for me. It really is. I love making content, I love being on the bike, I love being behind the camera and everything else. So as always, boys and girls, make sure to like, comment and subscribe and make the channel a success. So for now, this is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, be safe on the roads, stay away from COVID-19, and as always, adios.